Good day to you all, comrades and friends. This is Global Weekly News, serial number 23. First, we are going to see about Conference of Parties. What did COP27 achieve? United Nations 27th World Summit on Climate Change was held in Cairo of Egypt on November 6 to 20 of this year. The summit should have been over by 18th November. It was extended for another 2 days because no decision was arrived by 18th. The summit agreed upon loss and damage fund, but it did not take any decision to reduce greenhouse gases or reduce the consumption of fossil fuels like petrol, diesel, coal, etc. 3-decade-long struggle on combating climate change led to the decision of loss and damage fund. This fund is not a charity. It is a fund for establishing climate justice. That's what Pakistan Minister for Climate Change said. Pakistan, leading 134 countries of Group 77, G77, China, etc., played a major role in taking up loss and damage agenda in the summit. Activists and civil society groups and global south countries insisted on loss and damage fund. That decision in the 27th conference itself. European Union was opposing this decision during the 2 weeks of the summit. Global north rich countries emphasized World Bank and insurance-based schemes. There are evidences for these schemes to be not beneficial to the countries affected by climate changes. 70% of the promises on funding by the rich countries go towards financial aid to the most affected vulnerable 20 countries, V20. This is a global shield against climate risk. This is not loss and damage fund. That is different. Loans by World Bank to the countries already indebted too much push them to debt trap. To mitigate the miseries of the countries, vulnerable ones, their debts shall be written off. Finally, the European Union accepted loss and damage fund on 2 conditions. One is financial aid to the countries worst affected due to climate changes. What they mean is developing small island states and the least developed countries shall receive the aid, not the developing ones. Second condition is financial aid shall be based on the inflow of funds from many countries. The demand of the European Union is that even though developing countries like China, India emit far less greenhouse gases compared to USA or European Union, they shall also have a share in climate finance funding. In the past, the rich countries agreed on the principle of common but differentiated responsibilities. That is, the countries who spoil the environment much more, they should have much more share in the climate financing. Now they want to change, not common but differentiated responsibilities, but they want to change it to common but shared responsibilities. That means China, India, etc., they should also share the burden of climate finance. Russia-Ukraine war should have ended through peaceful negotiations, but in the name of NATO expansion, the Western countries prolonged the war, thereby making huge profits by sale of their arms and weapons to Ukraine. Due to sanctions on Russia, the European Union stopped cheap natural gas imports from Russia. Previously, European Union was receiving cheaper natural gas from Russia. But due to sanctions on Russia, they stopped gas imports from Russia. They are again starting their own coal-based power production, leading to emission of more carbon to the environment. Global average temperature will rise. Even by 2030, we may not be able to maintain the global average temperature within 1.5 degrees centigrade rise compared to the pre-industrial levels. So second, we are going to see the developments in Mali. Mali is the seventh largest country in Africa. Mali got freedom in 1960 from the French rule. For the past 9 years, France was a firm ally of Mali, very friendly to Mali. Mali invited French troops in 2013 to combat the Muslim rebels in Mali. The Muslim rebels were killing thousands of people. There were military coups in Mali in 2020 and 2021. Emmanuel Macron, the French president, announced in February of this year that French troops will be withdrawn from Mali in the next 4 to 6 months. Due to anti-French demonstrations, the French troops completed their withdrawal. In April 2021, the interim Prime Minister of Mali released a statement through social media that French NGOs are no more welcome to Mali. France retaliated. The overseas development assistance to Mali will be stopped. At the instance of the request of Mali government, 800 mercenaries from Russia's Wagner group have landed in Mali. Compared to presence of French troops earlier, Russian forces now are very insignificant. Still, there is an anti-Russian propaganda spreading all over the African continent. The third, we are going to see Palestine developments. Comrades and friends, Palestinians are living like refugees in their own home state. Palestinians are struggling for a free Palestine with 1967 borders and East Jerusalem as their capital. 2022 is the worst year for Palestinians since 2005. This year so far, 203 Palestinians were killed by the Israeli security forces. More than 50 children were killed. In 1967, Israel occupied major parts of Palestine. November 29 is observed as International Solidarity Day to the cause of Palestine. Since 1977, 45 years have gone. Israeli court sentenced Manasra, 13-year-old Palestinian youth, to 9.5 years imprisonment in 2015. Manasra did not involve in attempt to murder, but he wished to kill Israeli settlers. This is what the court said. Manasra's cousin was killed in the attack by Israeli settlers. Manasra also had a head fracture. With bleeding injuries, he was tortured in the police station in the name of investigation. Manasra got mentally ill. He could have been released due to ill health, but Israeli authorities brought his case under terrorism. Therefore, 2 appeals for his release were rejected. Manasra was in solitary confinement for the past 1 year. On 24th November, the court extended the solitary confinement to 20-year-old political prisoner Ahmad Manasra to another 4 months. The court said that he is a threat to his life and others. Israeli human rights groups and others are demanding the immediate release of Manasra. Globally, 430,000 or 430,000 people signed online petition in this regard for the release of Manasra. As per United Nations rules, more than 15 days solitary confinement is a torture. European Union pointed out this and called for the release of Manasra. Palestinians are not living in continuous areas. They are not having free movement due to Israelis' checkposts and apartheid walls. Palestinians are resisting the atrocities of Israeli government bravely and valiantly. International community shall involve more and more in getting justice for the Palestinians. Long live the struggle of Palestinian people for free Palestine. Nearly 7 lakh Israelis are living in 250 settlement areas and over 100 outposts. As per international law, these are illegal. Israel government has declared outposts as illegal, but it is providing all security and financial assistance to the settlers even in the outposts. Outposts are small Israeli settlement areas in occupied Palestine regions. Fourth, we go to prolonged Ukraine war. Comrades and friends, recently a missile from Ukraine hit Poland. Associated Press reported that this is a Russian missile, but later on it is found that it is not Russian. Germany has stationed Patriot batteries in Poland and in neighboring countries of Ukraine. Patriot of 90 troops was created in 1969. Patriot is built at a cost of $1 billion, $100 crore, and it has 4 missiles, each of which costs $3 million. A small error in handling Patriots will cause great damage. USA has extended more military aid to Ukraine than all other countries combined together. 40 countries gave 93.8 billion euros as military aid, humanitarian aid and financial aid to Ukraine. 93.8 billion, that is 9,380 crore euros. 1 euro is equal to rupees 85. Out of this, US alone gave 52.3 billion euros. NATO countries like Germany, Sweden, against past principles, they gave offensive arms and weapons to Ukraine. For the first time, European Union, through its institutions, gave lethal weapons to Ukraine. Russia sent its troops to Ukraine on 24th February. Even in April, Russia and Ukraine were ready to sign an interim peace accord. However, US and European Union stopped the imperialist forces who want to prolong war and get huge profits through arms sales. Capitalism means conflicts and war. Capitalism is dead against global peace, world peace. Comrades and friends, we go to Philippines, the fifth item. US Vice President Kamala Harris recently visited Philippines archipelago on a 3-day visit starting from 22nd November. She visited Palawan Island near the disputed South China Sea. After Ferdinand Marcos Jr. was sworn in as President of Philippines in June, Kamala Harris is the first US dignitary to visit Philippines. Left Progressive Coalition mobilized thousands of people and protested her visit on 21st November. US is responsible for deteriorating of human rights in Philippines and therefore this protest. They carried posters with the caption, Harris imperialist and not welcome. Philippines National Police tried to prevent the march by the protesters. In spite of that, the leaders addressed the rally. They said Kamala Harris did not come for peace and development of Philippines. Her intention is to station more US army bases in the Philippines, to strengthen Philippines military and to promote corruption in Philippines. That is why Kamala Harris came to Philippines. US Ambassador to Philippines announced in October $1 million aid to Philippines Army. Palawan Island, to which Kamala Harris visited, is nearby the disputed Spratly Island in South China Sea. A part of it, Philippines claims as its own territory. Kamala Harris' intention is to see that Philippines clash with China. Between 2015 and 2022, $14 million worth US armaments were given to Philippines. Nancy Pelosi, Speaker of US Parliament, visited Taiwan a few months back. US tries to create an alarming situation in Asia Pacific region. US naval ships are in South China Sea without any business. The sixth and last item we are going to see, danger of measles and mumps. 54-year-old, 30 years friend of Vijay Prasad, the director of Tricontinental Institute of Social Research, recently died due to diabetes. 14th November is World Diabetes Day. All of us know insulin is the best medicine for treatment of diabetes. Discovery of insulin took place 100 years ago. During the past 3 years, COVID-19 affected globally. Everywhere we could see lockdowns and the fast discovery of COVID vaccines and vaccination in full swing. But the world failed in facing the challenges due to other health hazards like measles, mumps, etc. These diseases affect children very much. Routine vaccination for the children's diseases took a back seat. World Health Organization was warning about this during the past few months. In 2021, only 81% children were given the first dose of measles vaccine and 71% children given the second dose. To develop herd immunity, the social resistance, 91% children should have been vaccinated for measles. But first dose 81%, second dose 71%, not 91%. So therefore no herd immunity. Globally, 40 million or 4 crore children were not given even the first dose. WHO has warned, death of children will increase due to this. Even COVID-19 vaccination was not done to required levels in many countries. Health is an important component of human life. Human lives are very precious. Health for all is one of the basic demands to protect humanity. Thank you, comrade, for your patient hearing. See you next week.